issue is most important to you?
I'm extremely concerned about the border.
Illegals, they gotta go.
People are coming here seeking asylum.
Baloney. They're coming here for the freebies.
When people talk about immigration, they're thinking we're saying we don't want immigrants of any kind, and that's not what people are saying. People are saying that there are people who have come here legally. Why do they get pushed aside to allow people who have not even worked one day in our country, have not paid into the system?
I took my brisket and mac and cheese with me to catch Ken Lasker with a to-go order.
How closely are you watching this election?
Oh, very closely.
He was the only Harris supporter we met at lunch, even though Washoe County has historically been pretty politically split.
Had so much fun. But what was really incredible is in every single restaurant of the people willing to talk to us, we could only find one Harris supporter in every restaurant. And we left no stone unturned.
He's in the lead because he protects and projects the idea of protecting white supremacy.
Congressman, that's the kind of stuff that these crazed lunatics are marinating in.
Laura, listening to Keith Boykin, frankly, is listening to the hysteria from the Democrat Party and the radical left. Kamala Harris is losing black voters because they destroyed the economy. She's losing Hispanic voters because she destroyed the border. And quite frankly, she's losing Jewish voters and a lot of other ethnicities because of the terrible foreign policy. They want to throw out race as the reason, but the true reason is their policies are a disaster. Their rhetoric is dangerous and their leadership is non-existent. This is why Donald Trump is still popular today. In my opinion, that's why he's going to win this presidential election. But obviously the story today is this is the reason why you have crazies from the left who are now attempting to assassinate him. That rhetoric is out of control. It is dangerous. And we're not going to be lectured to by Keith Boykin or anybody else on the Democrat side of the aisle. Clean up your own house before you come talk to us.
And that's some of the most frustrating things that I notice with a lot of Harris supporters is that they need a reality check, honestly. They don't understand why people don't want to support Kamala Harris for many reasons why people don't want to support Kamala Harris. But Harris supporters have this narrative. They think that it's because she's a woman that's why no one wants to support her, or that's why men don't want to support her. No, on the issues men care about, number one being the economy, she's just bad on it. And many voters agree. If you look at the CNN poll, after the debate, more people supported Donald Trump on the economy than Harris. And these people, it's like they can't get through their own bubble. And this is why I want to highlight in this video is that I have noticed a lot about these Harris supporters is that they can't really defend their choice for why they support Kamala Harris. All I get is symbolisms, empty promises such as, oh, she's just better for us, right? And the argument I hear a lot on this channel specifically is that people say, oh, Trump don't care about you. What makes you think Harris cares about you? And my argument here is I don't care if Trump cares about me. I care about his policies, what he's trying to implement, and how I can benefit from his policies. That's all I care about. And on that front, Kamala Harris is solely lacking. I made a video how the media unloads on Kamala Harris debate mistakes, and it could cost her big. And this is one of the biggest reasons why it will cost her big. And all these liberal creators online, and I find it laughable when these liberal creators talk about the economy, when some of the biggest liberal creators who are bashing Trump on the economy were actually between the 11 to 15 years old when Donald Trump was elected. Don't believe me? Let's take a look.
Here's something that I think people fail to recognize when they listen to these liberal creators about the Trump economy. So these are the main voices you hear from. These are the loudest voices about how terrible Trump was on the economy. Well, here's the age they were when Trump was elected. Like Harry, Chris, and Parker were 15 years old. That means at best, they were like 17 when COVID hit. And Dean was 11. He was 11 years old when Trump took office. Like, think about that for a second when he talks about what life was like under the Trump economy. Like, guys, he was 14 when Biden took office. Yet he is somehow like a loud voice on how much better the economy is under Biden than it was under Trump. Like Harry, Chris, and Parker spent years 15, 16, 17, and 18 under Trump. Dean spent 11, 12, 13, and 14. Like, let's be real. In your entire life, have you ever listened to what a 14-year-old thought about the stock market, or about manufacturing jobs, or about international relations? Well, if you haven't, like every other fucking American with common sense, please know that's what you're doing when you listen to Harry, Chris, Parker, and Dean, and especially Dean, like you are listening to people that were between the ages of 11 and 15 when Trump took office. They did not deal with the economy. They are all kids with rich parents who didn't have jobs. Harry and Parker didn't have jobs because their parents have money. Chris had one job where he worked retail for 6 months at AT&T, and Dean legally couldn't have a job because he was 12. Please remember that most of your top liberal political creators weren't allowed out past dark while Trump was president. And Dean was very likely getting allowance for keeping his room clean.
That's a reality check for you. Some of the big, this is why I don't listen to TikTok for my political opinions. I'm sorry. You're gonna tell me some kid, Gen Z kid's gonna like try to lecture me about how much better the economy was? I was in college when Trump got elected for president. And even though I personally wasn't paying taxes at a higher rate during that time, I did my research. I looked up the economy. I look at the numbers. I look at the status. 2019 is when I started my career in corporate America. And in 2020, between COVID years and between the election, I experienced the difference. I was like, wow, yo, it's harder to find a job. It's harder to make ends meet now. And I can make that compare and contrast. And just because of your age doesn't necessarily mean you can't get factual information. But when these people give us objective term like, oh, the economy was worse under Donald Trump, but it was better under Biden. Biden's the only economy you is actively working in for a lot of these Gen Z influencers on TikTok talking about politics. That's why I implore a lot of people that when these liberals come on these online, like Democrats get their organizations like the NAACP, and others little grassroots organizations to come and talk to you to scare you into voting for Democrats. Then they infiltrate the church to scare you from behind the pulpit. Then they get their celebrities in Hollywood to scare all of you, right? This is the game that I believe Harris supporters are trying to play. They're trying to play Trump bad. This is why they can't give up their narrative about, oh my God, how bad Donald Trump is. And this is what I constantly talk against, is that many Harris supporters, and this is your reality check, y'all can't talk on policy. Y'all can't talk on logic. Y'all can't talk on facts. Because a lot of the facts are against you. So you talk in narratives. You talk in slogans. Opportunity economy. Not a single Harris supporter can sit down and break down what an opportunity economy is. And then these are the same people. And this is a highlight. I'm going to show you a clip before I go into this video that I want to react with you all to kind of give an example of what I'm talking about when Harris supporters attempt to defend their position.
If you're black, you shouldn't be voting for Trump.
If you think that black people should continue voting for the Democratic Party, then you are as delusional as Cardi B thinking that her husband is going to stop cheating. We are pushing 100 years of the Democratic Party whoring us out for votes and then throwing us to the side the second that they are done with us. But before we even discuss black issues, let's talk about American issues. Our border is wide open. The US dollar is almost as meaningless as Zimbabwe's. Our sitting president shows visible signs of onset dementia, but the woman that you want us to vote for is telling us to ignore that. And look how many wars have started in the last 3.5 years. Do you want more? Meanwhile, notice how Donald Trump had Kim Jong-un and Miss Putin sitting with their legs crossed and acting like they had some decorum. So now let's talk about the issues that are impacting black people. Oh wait, I already did. Because black people are dealing with the exact same issues that other people in this country are dealing with. So stop thinking that we need to be some kind of segregated vote. It's tired, it's played out, it's late, and black people will be unapologetically voting for Donald Jaquan Trump this November.
At this point, I'm going to start grouping Democrat voters into 4 categories. Category number 1, you're a pedophile or you support pedophilia. If you're into sex changes for children and transgenders, teaching and dancing to children, reading to them, talking about let's affirm them at a younger age, that is pedophilia. Why are you thinking about sex and children at the same time? That's not progressive. That's pedophilia. There's no other explanation for it. Category number 2, you're either in the closet of the LG alphabet group or you're out the closet and you want to support them either way. Category number 3, you want something, but you're too lazy to go get it. So you're like, they say if I vote for them, they're going to give us this. Welfare, free housing, insurance, food, all that stuff that you don't have to work for as long as you keep on giving them your fealty and voting for them. Category number 4, you're uneducated because there's all this information out here that the Democratic Party has been doing and you still say, they're for us, but all they give you is chicken and cookouts. All they give you is free concerts with people twerking, and that's how they introduce their campaigns to you. Willfully ignorant and stupid. You don't go to any of them with say, we need this for our community. You just accept what they give you. These are the categories that make up the Democratic Party. Pushing sex changes and nonsense on children. Grown men in the women's bathroom saying I identify as.
The quad Trump is crazy. I agree with that kind of those four categories, right? You want free stuff, you're willfully ignorant, you're part of the LGBTQ community who you want to more normalize your lifestyle onto the young and impressionable, which is children, and you're a possible pedo. Hey, sounds plausible to me. And this is a reality check I think Harrison supporters really need, is that this is how you are perceived by many independents, such as myself, many Republicans, and many people who are conservative leaning. And the idea that you want to just chalk it up to, oh, they just don't want a woman president. It's just a lie you tell yourself, right? Oh, Ken, you're just insecure about the accomplishments of a black woman. We don't understand. We see what you're trying to do. You're trying to divide the sexes. I'm like, no, the sexes are already divided. Men prioritize different things from women. If you want to call me, if you want to say that's me trying to highlight division, I'm just highlighting reality of what I observe. But these are the games that Harrison Porter is playing. And they don't understand. This is why they're losing support. So here I want to highlight a debate between Charlie Kirk and a Gen Z person. And this is exactly how it goes, because I'm a millennial. I'm the youngest millennial. I was born in 96, which is the cutoff year for the millennials. I'm like the avatar. I'm a zillennial, whatever. So I sit in between the Gen Z and the millennials. And Charlie Kirk is going to highlight something that is one of the biggest problem with Harris supporters, is that it's almost like you try to convince me, or you try to convince people who don't agree with your position on some imagination, some narrative, instead of what the reality of things are. And you're going to notice this a lot in this video. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Because of
really?
Yeah.
You know the one that Trump had in his tax cut?
No, I know. It's a good thing though. I agree with it both.
Yeah, so and do you think that Kamala would manage the economy well?
Yeah.
Why hasn't she done it the last 3.5 years?
She's the vice president. Are we okay? Are we gonna
You're right.
act like the vice president is managing the economy?
Do you think Joe Biden's running the economy right now?
I think the White House senior staff.
Hold on a second. If Kamala Harris wanted to run the country, she could. How did Kamala Harris do with running the border?
Again,
How many illegals have come in under her watch? Can you guess?
7 million. Look, I obviously don't know the number off the top of my head.
It's 10 million people. Is that a success?
I don't think the border wall would be any more of a success.
Well, hold on. Under Trump, border crossings were at an all-time low. Kamala Harris, 10 million people that illegally come to this country, which is more than the population of New Jersey. Why does she deserve to be a president when she can't even manage the border?
Why? Okay, so, yeah.
Big problem. There you go. Right there. Big problem. Harris supporters will tell you how they feel about something, while conservatives will tell you what they know about something. Hey, I know with Donald Trump, there was less people crossing the border than with Biden and Harris, right? Trump didn't have a border law or a border bill, so he used executive orders to disincentivize people from crossing the borders. Within 2 years, Biden had more people cross the border than Trump's entire administration. I think Trump had 4 million border crossings, illegal border crossings through the southern border, while Joe Biden's already at 10. Imagine that. 10 million people, double what Trump had his entire term. And you think Kamala Harris is competitive in immigration on the border when majority of Americans believe and agree with Donald Trump for mass deportation? This is the problem. This is your reality check, Harrison supporters. And you wonder why many people don't want to support Kamala Harris, why it doesn't seem like there's much enthusiasm, why it only seems like women are supporting Kamala Harris. And I chalked it up to women prioritize different things than men. Most of the men are prioritizing the economy, which is Harris's worst subject, worst issue. The second most concern that men have is the immigration. Kamala Harris also performs worse on that issue as well, because she was in charge of the border. She was in charge of the sources of immigration. And she still haven't found the source of immigration. She still haven't found a way to fix the problems that we're dealing with now. Now you want to wait, buzzer beater, 3 years after your negligence on the border. Now you want to do something about it. And now you want the American people to reward her with a promotion? Make it make sense, Harrison supporters. This is your reality check. I'm an independent voter. I'm not affiliated with either party. I know ideology. Ideologically, I am a conservative. I know that for sure. But to try to dismiss my points as, oh, these are just mega talking points, you just don't want to, you just trying to dismiss the issue because you don't got nothing. That's one thing I noticed. When people try to label your arguments, your statements as being some talking point, They don't got no argument. They don't got no vision. They don't got no stance. And this is a reality check for you hair supporters. Y'all can get mad in the comment section. You can leave the video if you want. But this is something you have to contend to, because come November, if people still don't got questions, people still don't got answers to the economy, to the immigration, and why they should pick Kamala Harris over Donald Trump, you lose. Period. But I digress. Let's continue.
Yeah, I know. The bill that Biden and Harris put in to increase the border patrol.
No. Don't. 1 second, please. No. Yeah. It's not about the bill. You could do this all by executive order. Remain in Mexico. They've decided to empower the foreign invasion. Kamala Harris has overseen the border. She failed. She oversaw the Russian-Ukrainian dispute and went to the Munich Security Conference, and hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians died. She was the deciding vote on the Inflation Explosion Act that makes everyone have to pay more in goods and services. Her first day was 3.5 years ago as VP. What has she done that has given you confidence she'll do a good job as president? Prices are higher. People can't afford homes. 1.5 million people lost their jobs in the last year. You ask anybody in the economy, the American people don't agree with you, by the way.
And the job numbers was inflated by 818,000 jobs, right? Oh, look at the strong job numbers. This proves that Biden's economy was better than Trump's. A couple months later, a couple years later, we had to revise the job reports. We overstated the jobs report by 818,000 jobs, aka we lied about the job numbers. Where's the lie, Harrison supporters? Oh, those are mega talking points. Okay, but you still haven't challenged my point. All you try to do is create a perception, a framing around my statements, a framing around my arguments, and try to dismiss it as biased. Doesn't matter if it's biased. Is it true or is it not true? You can call me all the names you want in the comment section. Coon this, coon that. Oh, you love the white man. I don't give a damn. I love America. I love my country. I'm not a racist that focuses on people's skin color. I don't care if a bunch of white people agree with me. I don't care if a bunch of Asian people agree with me. I don't care if a bunch of black people disagree with me. All I care about is, am I right or am I right? Am I right or am I wrong? That's all I care about. I don't care if you're saying, oh, only white people agree with you. Oh, well, if I said something right and only white people agree with what's right, does that make black people wrong on this? Like, make it make sense. I hate people who racialize everything because they know they don't got a point. They know they don't got an argument. And this is another reality check for you hair supporters, because that's all y'all got. Y'all already got gender and race. That's the only thing y'all got going for y'all. Y'all try to segregate people based on their gender and their race and say, look, we should support her. It's about time a woman ran the country. You want an incompetent woman running the country when she oversaw the border and it became more of a problem compared to the last administration. You talk about we not going back. I think I want to go back to how the border was when Trump was running it. Only 4 million people across his entire presidency. And in 2 years, Joe Biden beat his number. Make it make sense, but you don't want to go back. Okay. I'm telling you, that going back stuff, it's going to hurt her. I promise you.
75% of Americans disapprove of the economy right now.
Yeah.
But if she was so good, by the way, so she says, I'm going to do no tax on tips, stole it from Trump. Why doesn't she just tell the IRS to do that right now?
Right. She's been in there years.
I don't honestly know much about tax on tips and the IRS thing.
But let's just put all this aside.
Yeah.
Would you not agree that Trump's presidency was objectively better than Joe Biden's?
I would not agree on that. What did
How
Trump
do you judge
do that you like really?
Border crossings all-time low. No new wars. You agree with that, right? No new wars.
He didn't pull out of Afghanistan, which he promised to do.
Hold on a second. No new wars.
He continued a war, though.
Which war?
The war in Afghanistan.
How many Americans died in Afghanistan under Trump?
He didn't pull out troops, though. He promised.
Yes, he did. He was winding it down. No new wars under Trump. Guys, let me talk, please. Guys.
Yeah.
But let me just. So the economy under Donald Trump. If you guys want to buy a home in your life, when Trump was president, please let me talk, man. Jeez. When Trump was president, you required $75,000 a year to be able to own a home. It now requires $120,000 a year to buy a home under Harris and Biden.
A lot of young men notice that. They're like, oh, damn, right? You got a lot of these women on TikTok, right? My wife always shows me that they're complaining about home ownership. I remember, I think I did a video on it too, about how single women were bragging about the fact that they had a house. And I gave my argument saying that, hey, look, a lot of you guys probably got it from divorce. People challenge that. Then I say, okay, even if you are buying if you're a single woman buying houses, doesn't necessarily mean that women are doing better economically than men, because men tend to look at things when they do purchases. They try to logically justify their purchases because men tend to be more practical shoppers. This is why a lot of the marketing that stores and retail stores do, they push it on women. That's why a lot of women's stuff is in the front of the store, because they know women are more likely to be impulse buyers compared to men. So men look at things, say, hey, I don't have a family. I'm living by myself. I don't need all this space, so I'm not going to buy a house. So that was my argument. I'm going to say, hey, how you know this is just not a practical choice by men not to go into homes that they know they don't really need, and they're just perfectly fine with renting, right? But women were using this to flex on men. Oh, look, we own a house. Now in 2024, a lot of these women are complaining, oh, my mortgage went up. Oh, my God, I didn't know how expensive it was to maintain a house, and I'm by myself. Things break into the house. Now I got to pay for that. Oh, you didn't think of that before you bought into the house? But no, you wanted to flex on men and say, look how much better we women are doing in this economy. We're buying houses while men aren't. It seems like men didn't want to buy a liability. And that's something that is debatable in the comment section. But a lot of men see, hey, look, I'm only going to buy a house if I have a family. That's how most men think about buying a house. Let me know in the comment section, because that's how I thought. I was fine just renting out. And then when I had my 2 kids with my wife, I was like, okay, I guess it's time for a family. It's time for a house now. This is how men think. Houses are for families, not to live by yourself. But this is the argument that men care about. Hey, the economy. I only needed to make $75,000 a year to own a house. Now in Biden's economy, I need to make $125,000 a year to own a house. Hell, I had to change jobs just to afford the cost of living that increased over the years with Joe Biden running the country. I personally experienced it. This is why I vote for Donald Trump. None of your feelings, none of your narratives, none of this crap that Harris supporters try to put out. Oh, you should support Kamala. No, I support policies. I don't care how much you demonize Donald Trump. I don't care how much you try to villainize Donald Trump. I'm voting for that man because of his policies. And the only way you're going to get me to not vote for Donald Trump on policy is to bring up a better policy. And from what I see, all Kamala Harris has is throwing money at the problem, aka creating more incentives for people to continue doing what they do, because all Democrats know how to do is throw money at a problem. I digress. Let's continue.
$50,000 more a year. So if you guys want to buy a home, you have to make $120,000 a year now, thanks to Kamala Harris.
Guys, how much did it cost the last day of Trump's presidency, though?
$75,000 a year.
The last day of his presidency?
Yes.
During the height of COVID, it cost $75,000 to buy a home?
Inflation was 1.4% when Joe Biden came into office. During Biden's presidency, he had the highest inflation rate in 40 years. The highest inflation rate in 40 years. This is what I'm talking about. Reality check for you Harris supporters. What is Kamala going to do anything different? Every time a Kamala Harris supporter try to make an argument, they somehow always have to include Trump somehow, some way. They can't stand on their own merits. They can't stand on their own vision. They can't stand on their own policy to persuade you to vote for Kamala Harris. That's another reality check for you guys. I digress.
Yes.
All right.
And gas was $2.
She's a millionaire.
And so I'm getting at this. Outside of vibes and Trump hatred, what has this woman done to earn anybody's vote? She won't take questions from the press. She didn't get a single vote from Democrat primary voters. She was installed by some sort of Zoom conference vote.
Get 'em.
Like, who is this person? Can you tell me?
Kamala Harris, who is she?
Like, did she earn any votes? Like, how did she get here?
I mean, she was the vice president. He dropped out, and she was on the ticket. That's my best guess of why she is.
Do you
remember the black guy I did the clip when he was categorizing, hey, do people just accept what the Democrats give them? This is another example. Oh, you just accept a candidate because that's what the Democrats gave you, Democratic voters? Oh, but I'm the coon. Oh, okay. But I'm the coon. That looked like some coons. But I'm the coon. Oh, okay. Okay. The Republicans, they chose Trump. People voted for Trump. Who voted for Harris? Did you vote for Harris during the primaries? No. Before the primary, during the primaries, people were talking about scenarios of how they could switch Kamala Harris out. But all of a sudden, now she's the most popular president ever. She's such a change agent. All of a sudden, she's the best candidate ever. Narratives and fluff.
Looking at this, does that give you confidence that this person should be president?
I'm fine with her experience. I think she has a lot of experience for the office. Yeah, I don't think you can argue that she doesn't.
I mean, we already went through the border, but just like, you got to give me something, or the audience, like, make the case. Like, we're here in a battleground state, Wisconsin. Like, show me the case. I'll give you the case. Trump was president for 4 years. People were richer. World was safer. Border was secure. Things were going really, really well. We respect our own. Kamala Harris, like, what's the thing? What's the sales pitch? Outside of vibes and Brat Summer, like, what is the pitch?
There is no pitch. The pitch is Trump bad. That is the reality of the Democrat platform in 2024. That's my reality check for Kamala Harris supporters. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Agree, disagree? I'd like to hear it all in the comment section. What, like, your thoughts about my video? What your thoughts about the angle that I took it? Do you agree with me? Do you see my point? Do you want to bring highlight a point that I missed? Let me know in the comment section. I'll love to see it. I'd love to read. I read every comment that I see, even if I don't reply to it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.